Fame. Everyone wants it, but how far would you go to get it? Across continents and cultures, people have done the unthinkable just to be seen. Some destroyed their bodies, others erased their identities. A few crossed lines so extreme they could never return. Stick around. These are the most shocking things humans have ever done for the spotlight. Welcome to the craziest things people did for fame. 1. The man who had himself buried alive. Repeatedly, Russian performance artist Pyotr Pavlensky gained notoriety by staging increasingly dangerous acts to remain visible. Among them, being buried alive for hours at a time in public spaces, sealed beneath dirt while crowds watched. Psychologists describe this as symbolic death performance, a way to dramatize existence through near erasure. Each burial created headlines. Each escape reinforced his legend. The danger wasn't accidental. It was necessary. Without risk, there was no attention. And without attention, the performance meant nothing. 2. The influencer who destroyed his face for recognition. A Brazilian influencer known online as Human Satan underwent extreme facial tattooing, implant insertions, and eye modifications to create a demonic appearance. Horn implants distorted his skull, his nose was reshaped, his eyes were permanently darkened. Doctors warned him that complications could cause blindness or brain infection. He proceeded anyway. Psychologists label this irreversible identity branding. When fame requires physical commitment so extreme that retreat becomes impossible, once the body becomes the brand, anonymity dies forever. For him, recognition was worth more than safety, employment, or social belonging. 3. The human Ken doll. Rodrigo Alves, later known as Jessica Alves, became famous for turning the human body into a living spectacle. Over the years, Alves spent more than $500,000 on cosmetic surgeries, rib removals, jaw reconstruction, facial reshaping, and countless revisions. Doctors repeatedly warned about infections, organ failure, and the risk of death. At one point, Alves nearly died due to surgical complications, but stopping wasn't an option. Psychologists compare fame obsession to substance addiction. The first transformation brings attention and validation, but over time, tolerance builds. Each new procedure must be more extreme to produce the same emotional reward. Alves's surgeries stopped being about appearance and became about survival in the public eye. Eventually, the body ceased to be a home and became a billboard. Pain became irrelevant. Risk became normal. Fame rewarded the transformation, reinforcing the behavior. Alves proved that when attention replaces identity, the human body becomes expendable, as long as people keep watching. 4. The man who became famous without knowing it. In 1998, Japanese television producers carried out one of the most ethically disturbing experiments in entertainment history. A struggling comedian named Tomomori Hamatsu, known as Nasubi, was locked naked inside a small apartment. He had no food, no entertainment, and no human contact. His only way to survive was by winning mail-in sweepstakes. What Nasubi didn't know was that his suffering was being broadcast live to millions of viewers. Audiences watched him starve, hallucinate, and mentally unravel, and ratings skyrocketed. Producers edited nothing. His pain became entertainment. Psychologists later described this as involuntary fame, where a person's humanity is consumed by an audience without consent. When Nasubi finally learned the truth, he described it as waking up inside a nightmare with applause. Fame didn't elevate him, it imprisoned him, stripping away dignity while millions laughed. 5. The daredevil who died for views. Chinese live streamer Wu Yongning built his following by performing extreme rooftop stunts without safety equipment. He hung from skyscrapers with one hand, filmed with the other, and climbed buildings hundreds of feet high. Each video escalated because attention never stays satisfied. It demands novelty. In 2017, during a live stream challenge on a 62-story building, Wu attempted a pull-up on the edge of the roof. The challenge promised sponsorship money and viral exposure. He slipped. The camera fell. The live stream cut to black. Viewers witnessed his death in real time. Psychologists call this audience-induced risk escalation, where external validation suppresses fear and judgment. Wu didn't die chasing wealth. The reward was minimal. He died chasing relevance in a system that monetizes danger and rewards recklessness with clicks. 6. The man who let the internet shock him for donations. A European streamer wired himself to mild electric shock devices and allowed viewers to trigger them with donations. What began as jokes escalated as audiences learned higher pain meant higher engagement. This is audience-conditioned escalation, where viewers train creators to endure more by rewarding suffering. The shocks weren't accidental. They were scheduled. Fame arrived in volts. 7. The woman who auctioned her virginity. In 2012, Brazilian student Catarina Migliorini shocked the world by auctioning her virginity online, framing it as a social experiment. The winning bid reached nearly $780,000. News outlets around the world covered the story. Whether the act actually occurred mattered less than the attention it generated. Psychologists describe this as value substitution, where personal boundaries are exchanged for validation. In a digital economy driven by shock, intimacy becomes currency. Katerina guaranteed something priceless: permanence. One controversial act ensured she would never be ignored again, even as judgment followed her for years. 8. The fake heiress who engineered fame. Anna Sorokin, known as Anna Delvey, fabricated an identity as a wealthy German heiress to infiltrate New York's elite. She scammed hotels, banks, and socialites, but money wasn't the primary goal. Recognition was. Psychologists describe this as narrative control, the desire to author one's own legend. When Anna was exposed and imprisoned, her fame didn't disappear. It multiplied. Interviews, documentaries, and dramatizations followed. Even punishment became a stage. For Anna, disgrace wasn't failure. Obscurity would have been. 9. The man who erased his human appearance. French artist Sylvain Hélène, also known as Freaky Hoodie, tattooed nearly his entire body, including his eyes and tongue. He lost his job as a school teacher and became unrecognizable to people who once knew him. Psychologists describe this as irreversible identity commitment. Once transformation crosses a certain point, turning back becomes psychologically impossible. Fame becomes the justification for everything lost. For Sylvain, recognition replaced belonging. Attention validated the sacrifice, even as his former life vanished. 10. The influencer who crashed a plane on purpose. In 2021, YouTuber Trevor Jacob deliberately crashed his small plane and filmed it for views. He parachuted out, uploaded the footage, and claimed it was accidental. Investigators later proved the crash was staged. He faced federal charges. The stunt revealed how far content creation can go when disaster becomes entertainment. Fame rewarded the spectacle until consequences intervened. In the attention economy, even catastrophe can become content, as long as someone presses record. From the man who had himself buried alive repeatedly to fatal live streams, these stories expose a disturbing truth. Fame doesn't just reward extremes, it manufactures them. If you think humans will do anything for fame, wait until you see what animals are sold in places that feel unreal. Click now to watch the world's weirdest animal markets found in Asia. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and keep exploring the strange side of our world with Oddly Abroad.